everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And today a rather distasteful topic. I'm sorry to say it's often the case when we do these royal readings. This is because, well, this particular topic is because of an article that appeared yesterday in the Telegraph by Victoria Ward. And we know that the Telegraph is the one broadsheet in the UK, the one newspaper that Harry and Meghan allegedly trust and contact and use as a kind of mouthpiece, and Victoria Ward in particular is a journalist that they seem to use, and shall I say, just for the record, allegedly. I'm going to quote from this article, and which has been discussed on various platforms in an outraged tone, in which I'm going to add my outraged tone to as well here. But the Telegraph can reveal, and I'm quoting, that the King has factored Harry and Meghan and their two children into the heart of his funeral plans. The monarch is adamant that his youngest son, says youngest, shouldn't be that, should be younger son, take his rightful place at the center of his family. The Duke is expected to walk side by side with his brother at the forefront of the somber procession through London. I'm reading out choice excerpts from this article, just by the way. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be invited to take part in the family vigil at Westminster Hall and play a prominent role alongside the most senior royals during the funeral service. And also arrangements have been made for Archie and Lily to attend. Manifesting much? I think so, and I want to know why. I want to know who's behind this very distasteful article and why. Is there a panic on in Montecito that possibly plans are being made that have utterly excluded Harry and Meghan? They had a very bad experience at the late Queen's funeral. They were there, but they were iced out of some very important events prior to the actual funeral. And of course, you could tell that the family was having nothing to do with them. No one was talking to them. They really were given the cold shoulder, even though they were there and they were allowed to participate in everything. And of course, the strategically placed candle, which was very interesting at that funeral, and which blocked Meghan from view for most of it on television coverage. The card has gone flying off the table. I'm going to have to go and fetch it. And what else did I want to say about all of this? We saw them leaving St. George's Chapel in Windsor looking very, very sorry for themselves at the end of it all. And they deserved to look that way, in my opinion. So I'm going under the tarot table just briefly. And that was an interesting card that went flying under the tarot table, the Ten of Swords, which I think needed to be seen. Ruin and endings and catastrophe, the Ten of Swords. So let's see what's going on. Let's remind you, my tarot readings for fun and entertainment, or my opinion, or speculation, got the energy. It is just energy that I read here. And of course, the wish fulfillment card, wishful thinking card that just showed up there as well. And what was I going to say? There is, of course, a disclaimer in the box below. We're going to look from the Parkle's perspective in this reading. We're going to look at the Palace's feelings in the next reading. So we're going to look at it from both sides. You could even say the dark and the light, but that's just my personal take on the situation and on the energy as an energy reader. I'm going to look at expectations versus actuality in this reading for Harry, for Meghan, and for the children. And we have the Ten of Wands as our underlying energy. That's the card of burdens, isolation, life getting worse and worse, more and more unbearable. With the Ten of Wands, it's an ending energy, the Ten of Wands. This is when things reach their worst, basically, with the Ten of Wands, when the burden is so intolerable it has to be put down. And the burden would be of isolation, of bad PR, of bad choices. In my opinion, that's how it's reading for me. Harry, very red-headed person there with those burdens, if you can see that. And that's Harry's energy. And this event, this unfortunate event that we are reading on today, would mark a culmination for Harry, a very bad ending for Harry of all his bad choices, starting with his choice of Brad and onward from that, in my opinion, because he's iced out at the end of this. He might be there, very likely will be there, will be tolerated, but after that he's gone. Someone on one of the platforms, I can't remember which, where they were talking about this, made a very insightful comment about how Harry will be shut out of places that he's always viewed as home, and that his children will never be welcome into gardens that he played in, palaces that he roamed freely around in, that he knew intimately. He will be blocked from ever visiting, ever being allowed into when this event is over. I thought it was a very, very interesting comment, and that could be why there's this panic on. Because for normal people, you move, you don't have access to your family home, it's long gone, you get used to that pretty early on in life. Not for the royals. So let's get to the heart of this reading. What are we dealing with? The heart of the Parkle's at the heart of this funeral. Not really, with the Four of Wands in reverse. Not really, not at all. That is family, that is home, that is stability, that is being welcomed, being celebrated. It's in reverse, which is the opposite of celebration, so it could indicate funeral arrangements, but it's more than that. It's a broken home. It's a family that has been ripped apart, and the royals who have been ripped apart by the behavior of Harry and Meghan, in my opinion. And so we're hearing that Harry and Meghan are going to be at the heart of King Charles's funeral plans. Really, I don't think so. And Harry's taking his rightful place at the center of his family. I don't think so. Let's see who's behind this article. Where did it come from? If you can hear snoring, that's Tess. We got the Three of Cups in reverse. It's the friend card. It's the friend's network. It's giving me, oddly enough, a bit of the Three Witches vibe there in Macbeth. But that's just my negative energy assessment. We're in the soulless tarot, so that's why that energy is coming through. It's a friend network that is operating behind the scenes and manifesting. And it is interesting, the Three of Cups very often is female energy, female friends. It's that kind of friends of friends of friends network. I think we can trace it back to Montecito and to the Queen Bee herself. In Montecito, we know how she loves to put on her beekeeping outfit and prance about in the garden. So I think it's coming from there. That's how I'm reading it, through friends and friends and friends to the Telegraph. Some people call it Rachel with her Hotmail account. If you understand that reference, then there you are. Oh, our friend the Ten of Swords has shown up again. I didn't notice it. I was so enchanted with the Ten of Wands. Well, stricken, not enchanted. There it is. It's the next card. I felt its energy in there, but I thought it's because it went flying off the tarot table. But no, it came back for another round, just to remind us that this really is the end for the Ginger Whinger. The Ten of Wands, there he is. So we're back to the Three of Cups. We're done with that. I think we can trace it, as I say, to Montecito and to Meghan and her network of friendly reporters. Three of Cups in reverse. And why are we reading about this now? I think that is a much more interesting question that the Ten of Swords possibly has answered. Four of Swords in reverse as well. Very similar energy, the Four of Swords to the Ten of Swords. The card of ruined reputation, the card of very public ruin, actually, because the Four of Swords is about retiring from the public eye, healing, contemplating what has happened, what has gone wrong, and how you need to fix it, and all of that. In reverse, being ruined, but not withdrawing from the public eye, not understanding how to fix it, not doing that inner work, that reflection, taking that time out to heal and lick your wounds and all of that, being seen in public as somebody who is ruined. It's very, very reputational in its ruin for me here. In some ways, it's even worse than the Ten of Swords when I'm doing these royal readings, because the Ten of Swords has this energy inherent in it of a resurrection after that symbolic death. It has a sun that could rise again after the dark night. This is broken, damaged, destroyed. Everyone sees it, needing to fix things, needing to reflect, refusing to do that. So I think we can understand where all of that is coming from for both of them. Both of them in Montecito are in that energy, I think, personally. And let's look at them one by one now and see what's going on. Expectations and then how it's actually going to go. Of course, very early on in this energy, subject to change, but they're trying to manifest, I personally believe, with these kinds of articles, putting these articles out to try and put the wind up the royals and try to force King Charles's hands. And that we've had it already with the Invictus Games. Now we're getting it. This is this new PR team doing their nefarious work, in my opinion. Harry first, his expectation. What does he think is going to be? We've got the Five of Swords. It's the conflict card. It's a hollow victory energy here. He's expecting conflict around this, but he's expecting also a kind of ability to play a disruptive role in this and to get his own way. You can see those gleeful expressions on these people who are fighting in the Five of Swords. They're enjoying it and wanting to defeat someone at all costs. It doesn't matter what else happens in this and what else is ruined, whether the entire royal family is ruined, whether Britain's reputation on the world stage is ruined, doesn't matter, because this person in this Five of Swords energy, which is Harry, is determined to win at all costs. So he wants to assert himself. He wants to be front and center of this funeral. He who has said the most appalling things about his father just very recently on the BBC wants to be the dominant one, and wants to be the one who comes and ruffles everyone's feathers at this funeral. How's it going to go for him? Are they going to play nice? We've got the Seven of Cups. He's going to be able to convince himself of his own importance on the day. He's going to be given opportunities. Opportunities he doesn't deserve. Opportunities that may be more ephemeral than real. So he'll be able to put his uniform on and his medals. There was a whole thing about that in this article. I spared you that. But you can go and read it in the Telegraph if you've got the stomach for it. I think he's going to be able to prance about and look important and strut about and strut his stuff and feel that he's vindicated and all of that. But the Seven of Cups, is very pretend in its energy. It's make-believe energy. It's delusional. So he's going to think that he's done better on the day than he actually has. And I think that that's how the late Queen's funeral went as well, where he felt that he was Mr. Important until he thought it through later on, or possibly until she whispered into his ear, and then he got that face when they were climbing into that car and being whisked off in disgrace, basically away from everyone else. How about herself? Her expectations, what is she expecting? I got the Seven of Wands. Interesting that I'm mistakenly mentioned it over here. I could feel it. The Seven of Wands is being on the back foot, being in a defensive position. So she knows that she's unwanted. She's unpopular. They loathe her. She's the last person in the world that they want there. But she feels that she's in the right, because when you're in Seven of Wands energy, you do feel, when it's upright anyway, you do feel that you are in the right and everyone else is attacking you unfairly. But you have the higher ground. You have you are right in your thinking, in your position. She feels. So they both got this very defensive energy, but it's all about conflict. Harry wants to win at all costs, and she's feeling that she's right, and they're all horrible to her, and deservingly so, with that Seven of Wands thing. So she believes that she should be there, and everyone is just being horrible to her. How's it going to go for her on the day? Very hard to leave her out of it. Ace of Cups. She's going to squeeze that tear out of that left eye again, like she did at the late Queen's funeral. It looks to me like she's going to be there. Ace of Cups. And she is going to be all about the tears and the woe, and going to try her damnedest, if this energy continues the way it is, to look like she's the one, she's the bigger person in this scenario. It fits with the Seven of Wands. She's the bigger person. She's the one who's forgiving them. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, and I have the misfortune to have my I was going to say my pet dragon. I'm going to say my pet dragon, because it is actually a dragon, my pet dragon. Then you know you are always in the wrong and they are always right. And they are always the ones who believe that they are making the grand gestures and forgiving you for your wrongdoing. There we have it, the Ace of Cups. I unfortunately do believe that they will both be there, and it would be very difficult for the royals not to include them without looking petty and without really inviting tremendous criticism from vast sections of the world's population who still, I think, believe that Harry and Meghan have been mistreated because of her skin colour. Let's just say, I'm losing my voice as I say this, interestingly, and no, I haven't been shouting or singing or doing any of those things today. It's just this energy that's closing my throat. It's like there's a cold hand around my throat. I need to just stop and have a little cough. Right, and I'm back. And final column here is about the littles. And will the littles be present? Expectations about their attendance, because allegedly arrangements have been made and possibly have been. I mean, how would you leave them out? By the time this all happens, hopefully they will be much older and much more able to withstand the public scrutiny and all the pomp and circumstance that they're not at all used to right now, in my opinion. Expectations for them. King of Cups, there you have it. We're getting all these cups from the Parkles. That's Prince William's energy, it's King Charles's energy as well, that they're going to be embraced, that they're going to be welcomed into the family, space made for them, and it's all going to be a big whole kumbaya kind of a thing. How's it actually going to go for them and their experience of it? Knight of Wands in reverse. They might get left behind. It might be perceived as too difficult by Harry. It's his energy, the Knight of Wands, and it's the overseas energy. The Knight of Wands does a lot of traveling, galloping about, and it might just be that he has a thought that it would be better for them to stay at home rather than to attend, and possibly so many thoughts landing right now, possibly questions raised about them, their appearance, their behavior, all of that kind of stuff. It might just be awkward, it might be embarrassing, people might be saying, would you please spit on this in this cup, and or can we have a lock of hair? I'm being facetious. Of course they would never do such a thing. There are no questions like that that need to be answered, none at all. Getting that kind of energy. If not that, then it's very embarrassing. It's an embarrassing, awkward event for them, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, because the Knight of Wands in reverse is awkward and embarrassing energy. It can be uncomfortable, it can be clumsy, it can say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, look out of place, it can lose its temper. There could be that kind of behavior, and who would want to see that while the whole world, billions of people are watching? Too terrible for words. I actually, no wonder I was losing my voice. It was anxiety on their behalf. that this could happen. And particularly, I would imagine with Archie, that if Archie is the one that is taken along, the other one is left behind. For whatever reason, I believe that there are passport issues and international travel issues. That's just my tinfoil hat theory, which I'm allowed to have and entertain and to articulate here as on a tarot reading for fun and entertainment. Then there might be behavioral issues around Archie that could cause some concern. Let's just say huge amount of cup manifesting from the Parkles in this reading. Huge. They need this. They want this. They also believe that they're entitled to exercise their rights. Nobody else is, but only they are. A huge amount of ruin and calamity in their lives with the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Swords, the Four of Swords going on here. And the Four of Wands, of course, the family that has been torn apart by them and their behavior, in my opinion, all of that stuff. But I do think, unfortunately, for many people, most importantly, King William himself, they're going to be there and he's going to have to deal with it. That is my reading. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.